Thank you. We've been protesting together for 100 days now. A lot has happened, both good and bad. We've dealt with violent, racist neighbors, curfew arrests, altar destruction, and aggressive drivers seeking to harm the protests. But we've also educated ourselves on the racism that permeates society, gotten comfortable being uncomfortable, built lifelong friendships, and fostered a sense of community never before felt here. Tonight in the community forum, we want to hear from you in a more personal way. This is a safe space to share your reflections on the last 100 days, the issues we are here to support, what keeps you coming out night after night, and where you imagine this going.
This isn't a comprehensive list. I see a lot of faces who I recognize, names I don't know, but this community has contributed a lot over this 100 days to keep things going, and I wanted to read as exhaustive a list as I could to give a sense of where we've been. So please forgive me if you're not mentioned, as this is only what I could remember at 3 a.m. and then a couple edits a few moments ago. So in no particular order except for these first couple, I want to thank Rebecca for being here since day one and encouraging this idea. I want to thank Saundrea and Alexa for their work on keeping this going. I want to thank Sam for coming back after his first experiences, trusting this community and becoming an organizer. I want to thank Ellie and Whitney for their past organizing work. I want to thank Nancy for making the banners that we put out each night. I want to thank Debbie for holding the Children's Story Hour every week and making those great shirts.
Hello, my name is Keesha Taylor. I am a NYCHA resident, and I am one of the co-founders of the Holmes-Isaacs Coalition. I want to say how fabulous and wonderful that this is the 100-day celebration. This may look a little different than on the first day. It may look a little different than on the 25th day. It may look a little different now, but it is still wonderful. It is still great because you're still here. You are still supporting. You are still the village that is holding up this fight. Because every time I come out, I remind you that the fight is not over. Because our brothers and sisters are still dying in the streets. Our brothers and sisters are still dying at the hands of the police. Our brothers and sisters are still dying in homes that are killing them. Our brothers and sisters still need your help. Because when I go home, my melanin skin does not change. I cannot lay down my fight because my fight does not change because my skin is still right here every single day. We need your help, and this fight is not over. I want you to remember that this fight is not over. It may look different on the 100th day. It may look different on the 1000th day. But we still need your help every single day. Because my skin does not change. And when police look at me, they see nothing but my skin. And I fight for my children. And I need you to fight for my children and the children of other brown people. Because you need to remember that this fight is not over. We need to change the system. And in order to change the system, it takes a village. And you are that village. You need to get your people, you need to get your neighbors, you need to let everyone know. And remember that this fight is not over. Thank you.
I'm 25. I have been doing this for a while relative to how young I am. I was in Baltimore when I was 19, right after Michael Ferguson was shot. I could admit that I was too young to truly understand why I was there. But I get it. I get why these are a necessity, but it's still not fun for anybody. And I've encountered personally more police violence than I can count on my own limbs, and I'm still here doing this so that it doesn't need to be done anymore. And the only thing I want to punctuate this with is that 100 days may seem like, you know, we've been organized for 100 days. We put this together for 100 days. There are people who have been doing this a lot longer for many different names, many different people, many different lives who were taken unjustly and extrajudicially. And it's just not fun. I didn't come here with a speech prepared, and I didn't come here to celebrate. It seems odd to use that word here, but I just want to say that amongst all of the negativity, I'm really glad that there is a group of people who are able to come together and overcome it for themselves and be a better part of that message and not give in to how truly terrible we could all be taking this. Thank you.
Black lives breathe, black lives dance, black lives sing, black lives move the culture in every part of earth, but are under the impression that their collective power has limits. My black does so much more than matter. We built this from the ground, all of it. Since they stole us from our kingdoms of splendor and abundance, our blood, sweat, and tears have watered the land of the oppressor, given them a lush garden they love to cut down, burn, and place boundaries that we cannot cross. My black does so much more than matter. For you've seen the power of unity, for you've seen the power of initiative, for you've seen the power of not giving yet Will, Jada, Kanye in his brain, the lusciousness of the supple adorns of woman. I'll tell you to stay inside in your phones and watch me instead of fighting the master that has been feeding them all by the silver spoonful. My black does so much more than matter. You know it's bad when your call for consideration has been commodified and turned into a scapegoat. They do not want to treat you better. The system is not broken. It's working exactly as intended, burning us all as fuel. Black lives do more if we do more as black lives. If we remember how to move as one, as the tribes our ancestors used to start humanity itself. Black lives build, black lives thrill, black lives move with love and consideration, but can shut it down if necessary. Thank you. My name is Josiah.
My last 100 days have been different than anything I've ever experienced in my life. I just began protesting this year, and I haven't been reminded of my skin that often in this world. I usually stayed in the black community, and that was because I was afraid. And that's really the plain, simple truth of it all. And I wasn't just afraid because I was born afraid. I knew why I should be afraid. People threatened me because of my skin, because the color, because of my hair, because of who I am. It's been really difficult. I haven't enjoyed the past 100 days at all. And that's it. Thank you. Black Lives Matter.
Good evening. I came out 100 days ago, for my own reasons. But what I found here was a group of people that have been able to sustain me in my fight to be an anti-racist teacher and educator. And in an effort to help this group continue to sustain each other, because this has become an amazing community of people who are working to sustain each other and sustain this cause. I wanted to share very quickly with you a little bit about Georgia Gilmore and her Club from Nowhere. Georgia Gilmore helped sustain the Montgomery bus riots, Montgomery bus boycott. She initially started baking baked goods and meals for meetings and giving all the profits back to sustain the bus boycott. And as people caught on to this, they would give her the profits from what they sold, and she would continue to donate the profits to sustain the effort. The title, the club name, the Club from Nowhere, comes from the fact that she took sole ownership of the club and turning in all the donations to protect the identities of everybody else who was baking and making meals and feeding others for the movement, to protect their identities, because her involvement in the movement had serious consequences for her. But she is a very unknown but very powerful figure. So after the march, I have treats for everybody to help sustain us as we continue for 100 more and 100 more days. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I thank you. I feel so good being here. I believe in spiritual. My town in Puerto Rico, we're known as witches. It's called Guayama, and usually happens in October. And it's a good spirit, and I feel very good coming here. When I see you, when I had the pleasure to meet you, I hate the word white or color. I don't like that word, so maybe I will find a more comfortable, because this is a new experience for all of us of trying to work together. So I am so thank you, and I'm so proud of you that you're doing something about this, because had this not occurred, I would have been very older and not happy and no justice. You are doing it possible of the Caucasian or the white community putting the front for us. I could go on and on and on, but like I said, I'm very proud of you. I'm very happy that I'm here, wonderful people. Thankful, the celebration. I'm excited because it's a purpose, it's a reason we all have, and be involved. So once again, I'm so thankful. I'm very proud of you. A pleasure to meet you. Part of my emotions about this issue, but we're doing something about it. So I'm with you. You have a good backup. Let's do it. Knock it down.
I must say that over the last 100 days, I've been devoting my job as a reporter to documenting police brutality and wrongdoing at Black Lives Matter protests and against black communities. And over the last 100 days, it's been really difficult for me, because police, they realize that the most powerful weapon against them is a pen, a paper, and a camera. And every time I've gone out to do my reporting, I've been tear gassed, batons, you name it. I thought, I have no skin in this game. I'm a white Upper East Sider. Why am I doing this? But then I realized, I try to come here as much as I can. I see all these faces with a like-minded goal for justice. And it just makes me realize, I have to continue doing this work. You guys give me so much inspiration, and you really keep me going. So give yourselves a big round of applause. Thank you.
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. My name's Akeem, and I'm one of the organizers. I'm probably the newest organizer.
to say a couple things. I'll only take a minute. I love each and every one of you that decided to come out here tonight, that have been coming out for the last 100 days. You guys don't know what that means to me and people like me, that y'all chose to take time and energy and criticism from your peers that don't believe what you believe, that all people were made to be equal, that Black lives do matter, that there is systematic racism, that there is systematic oppression, that Black people need to stop being killed by law enforcement, that we are discriminated against. I love each and every one of y'all for each day that y'all have decided to come out here and be a part of this community. In particular, I want to thank Thamer. Raise your hand. From the time that I joined this group, me and Thamer have bonded and we have connected. But I've connected with a lot of you. But Thamer is my brother, and I love you, Thamer. And I just appreciate you guys coming together as a community. I appreciate all the organizers, and the last person I want to thank is Patrick for organizing this whole thing and seeing it through for 100 days, because you guys have no idea what that takes. And I also want to thank Saundrea, who's been doing this way longer than we have been doing it for. And I want to thank you guys, and let's keep going.
Hi everyone, how are you? You know how I am. I keep it short and I keep it sweet. I thank you. I have been here since day one. I remember meeting Patrick on a bus years before I knew any of this. He knew I organized, I knew I organized. I knew about him, he knew about me. And the two things I remember, after he stuck up for me and offered me a chair when a woman pulled the privilege card and I told him no. And I stuck up for him when a disgusting real estate broker tried to take advantage of him. There are two things I realized. He's got a good heart and I'm a firecracker. We've been perfect together ever since. I want to thank you all for coming out, and I want you, each and every one of you, to remember, this is a movement, not a moment. You go home and you question your friends, your family, your co-workers, your friends with benefits, your neighbors, your lovers, because coming here for an hour a day is not enough. Going to a protest is not enough. And last but not least, it's been 100 days. This being a movement, never free your mind to become a slave to your ego. Keep it just, keep it equal, keep it real, and remember why we're here. Thank you.
Who keeps us safe? Who keeps us safe? Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Make some noise. Please, without further ado, receive our speaker for tonight, Newsome, co-founder of Black Lives Matter, Greater New York. Please, please, please receive him.
After me. Black lives, they matter here!
Black lives, they matter here.
I thought this was a 100-day celebration. Say it with your heart. Black lives, they matter here!
Black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here!
Black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here!
Black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here!
Black lives, they matter here.
Right on. You might hear my name. Right on. Come on, y'all. We need to get live. We need to get live. Because let me tell you, the opposition, the oppressors are always hyped. their energy is always up. They out here having boat races, and they marching with militias, and their energy is always up. So we don't have to fall back. We have to surpass their energy. And as y'all know, we are a group. We are a democratic organization. No one member is greater than the group, than this collective that is Black Lives Matter, Greater New York. So I brought my man, Mel Marrow here, who's a talented artist that's going to share something very special with you all. Peace. The most disrespected person in America is the black woman.
That's right.
Right on. Malcolm X, 1963. Breonna Taylor, Sunrise, June 5th, 1993. Sunset, March 13th, 2020. June 5th, 2020, she would have been 27 now. That was my age. So I don't know where to begin with the amount of outrage I'm feeling. They locked down the country to put the murders of our race on display for our children. It took 50 states to repeal 50A, but there's still killers in Louisville chilling. Brett Hakinson, Miles Cosgrove, Jonathan Mattingly, 3 officers placed on administrative leave following our sister's death. Our queen is buried 6 feet deep, while as a collective they're receiving 6-figure checks for shooting 22 rounds, 8 penetrating flesh, and more than 170 days later, still no arrest. I want y'all to take note of that for y'all media cameras. And while you at it, maybe call up Greg Fisher and tell him we demand immediate answers, because suspending a no-knock warrant is not enough. We gave y'all a warning. Suspending a no-knock warrant is not enough. We gave y'all a warning. Breonna still ain't get justice, so the country remain fired up. For my kings with skin they seem to oppress, our black queens too are seen as a threat, and they need us as much as knees off our necks. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman Malcolm X. Don't let this become another case that gets swept under the rug. She was loved to have everyone's respect. A devoted paramedic who chose to paramedics, working parallel with those she reflect. Before working TMZ, she was worth more than just an EMT. Before working EMT, she was worth more than just a TMZ story to project. Y'all help take. Come on. I get deep about Breonna Taylor, y'all. I really get deep about Breonna Taylor. Next up is my blood sister and co-founder of Black Lives Matter, Greater New York, Shavonna Newsome.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
We shocked this world, y'all. They thought that when they arrested the officers who killed George Floyd, that would be enough. They did not realize that this is a revolution. And you cannot stop a revolution until there is real change. They thought that we only cared about police brutality, but now we're shedding light on the housing crisis, environmental justice, black women's maternal health, the wealth gap, and they need to eradicate poverty. Black people, my ancestors, we have been oppressed in this nation for 400 years since they thought that we were a commodity, and still they do not care. But we have to keep fighting. We have to keep pushing, because our oppressors, they're not tired. They're looking at new ways to oppress them. The way that they beat us before is because we were unorganized. But look at the changes that are happening. Since we took to the street, since we've been on the ground for 100 days, things are moving. We're shaming these career politicians into doing their job. We're showing the world that a black man's life means something. We're tired
stay the course if you stay dedicated. Now I got one chant and I'm out of here. Y'all repeat after me. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. Come on, y'all, stand up one time. Put your fist in the air.